Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, so first off, the big autumn blaze maple, the extra one that we had planted over in front of the formal flower garden, was moved so that we could flank the new gate with the maples. This one, of course, was already here, and it just worked out beautifully. Some of you might remember that we originally had a maple tree really close, if not right in the spot that this one was moved to, and it got run over by the garbage truck. And I don't think it had been in the ground too long when that happened. So it wasn't like it took out years worth of growth, but we just never put one back in because we weren't sure what we were going to do in this space. And at that time, having a gate was kind of in our minds, but we just hadn't decided yet. Anyway, Aaron has incredible foresight though in pretty much every subject. And he thought, you know what? When we've got this huge network of trees along the lane in a pattern, we should at least have one extra autumn blaze maple planted somewhere that's accessible. In case something happens to one of these trees, we can have it moved, like taken out, and have the other one moved into place so that size-wise there isn't much difference. So having that one sitting over there, and we really didn't have anything planted around it yet, it was so easy just to go pick it up and move it to this area. There goes Paul with the lift. I think they're putting Christmas lights on the barn right now. And the incredible thing about this, I mean, they're not wildly different in size, but I do think that this one is bigger. I think that that one might have been in a spot where it liked it better or something. I don't know, than this one over here. It's just kind of interesting, the different growth rate. But in the end, it's just going to be a big, beautiful canopy that will look kind of like an arbor over this whole area. And of course, we still need to put our brick pillars in and that sort of thing and finish this up. We did get the mail vault just sitting here with nothing around it. This will have like a little bricked hut with a keypad for the gate. And all of that eventually, but having it just plopped here keeps cars from cruising through. We were going to pop some rocks in here, and I think we probably still will, but kind of, I guess a car could squeeze through here if they wanted to. And at this point, it wouldn't even surprise me if somebody tried to go through there. The drivers we get, I don't know. It's so funny. One of the first days we had the gate installed, the gates were shut at the moment because Burke Electric was here. They were working on all of the setting up the electricity to the gate. And we had a delivery driver drive up to the gate and then back up, which, you know, they're supposed to back up like this into the gravel lane and then back out. Well, it just backed right up into our cameras, like our cameras, the fence post, all of that, just backed right into that post. That's why it doesn't surprise me. And hopefully in the end, once we, widen out our gravel a little bit, we're going to take out the first post here. So this post will go, this will be the first post, but we're still going to put a big rock right here. But that will make it a little bit wider to get through here. And then, the gravel will be a little bit wider right here as well, just to make it feel like there's more breathing room. But the maple tree is just phenomenal. Oh, I love it. So we're just kind of to make sure to keep this one very moist. In fact, we'll probably bring the water trailer out here later and give it a super great deep soak. But oh, it adds so much more than just the balance for me. It adds so much structure right here. And it makes me excited. I think we've eliminated the idea of putting a water feature in here because as you approach, this hut will be in the way, blocking it, and there's not enough space right here to do it. So we're just going to landscape this really pretty and do some flower beds around the little hut. And we'll do something mirroring in this area. In fact, I think we'll probably take grass out in this section just to make it easier and make it more balanced. So that was the first tree that was moved. Let me run out to the other tree. The moving of these trees has been on the schedule for quite a long time. So we had to wait for everything to go dormant. Evergreens is a little bit different because they start going dormant like late summer. They start slowing down, but they do it more than deciduous. So we wanted to wait till leaf drop, basically. This is either a red or a scarlet oak. I can't quite remember. But I think in the beginning we had it too close to where the spring grove arborvitaes are because this thing's going to have a massive canopy. And the canopy would have gone a bit over our neighbor's fence, which they don't mind. In fact, anything that's going to be along a fence line, we actually clear with our neighbors. In fact, Aaron just texted all of our neighbors back behind the barn and said, hey, if we decide to do lights on the evergreens on the berm, is that going to bug you at all? If it is, we'll skip the evergreens. And all of them said, go for it. So we just try to be communicative about what we're doing so that they know what to expect and all of that. So that wouldn't have been a problem. The problem would have been the shed we're putting up right here. They came and did the lines and we are a little over 10 feet away from the fence. I think we're going to continue on with evergreens just to make the backside pretty for neighbors. And I think it'll be pretty having some evergreen interest up above. But this is where the back of it will be, and it's going to be 20 feet this way. to this stake here, and then it goes about 80 feet that direction, and it's all open bay. So all of this stuff that's here, we've explained it before, it's all going in here. They had a whole bunch of supplies dropped off, so that should be happening here really soon. But we were just noticing how close the tree is, and we still wanted it to be here in the general area, but just out a bit. So that is where it landed. Front of the shed here. This will just be a nice, beautiful canopy that kind of softens the shed, maybe hides it a little bit. And then in this area, I'm thinking some just kind of large shrub, black lace elderberry, something like that. There is a blue atlas cedar here. Maybe another thin evergreen, I don't know. But for now, it's gonna be open. The only thing that's remotely close to in their way is the oak tree, and it's far enough away and not in front of it that I don't think they're gonna need to be right in that spot. We asked them if it was going to be a big deal too, and they said no. So it's already been a really crazy day around here. A lot of activity, a lot of equipment. They're working on Christmas lights right now, and I am going to finish up this afternoon by planting 2 lilacs. And these are 2 that I've had since last year in containers. We do winter over a lot of shrubs and have really great luck doing that, but the more winters you try to winter over the same thing in the same size of pot, I think it's not that great for the plant. So I really just want to get these in the ground. I do know of a spot in the south garden where I'm going to plant the President Lincoln, which is beautiful. Just that perfect lilac color. So President Lincoln French hybrid lilac. It grows about 10 feet tall by 6 feet wide. Cannot remember the zone. Hardy to zone 3. And these are already loaded up with buds for next year. This one right here is an alba. It's trying to bloom white. I've got one right here actually. So I thought about planting that one on the opposite side of the dirt lands. I think we're gonna go find a spot for that one, but let's head to where the President Lincoln is going. I've actually got 3 President Lincolns in the south garden, but they're sort of by the berry beds. This is gonna be by the loop, kind of along the driveway. Where I'm driving, right in here and inside the shed will be gravelled once we're all done. And this will be planting area. We're not gonna mess with all of the shrubs and native growth around the irrigation ditch. Oh gosh, that maple is just amazing. Beautiful. Right here. So this is where we had all the Angelonia, Supertunia, Saffron Finch, and the Supervena in this space. It was so gorgeous this summer. But once it's all cleaned up, you can see the gaps that you have. And I do have a couple of things that will get sizable. This, I think it's a Bonnie Blue spruce, 20 by 15-ish. And then this right here is a Haywire False Cypress, which I want to say that this one gets like 8 feet wide and like 12 to 15 feet tall, somewhere in that range. So, I mean, it's going to fill in this space here. But I think if I pop the lilac right in here, it'll kind of bridge the distance here, and it'll be a beautiful spring color, because I'm looking right now and I don't have anything super close. We've got Baptisia. That's kind of a late spring bloomer, but I think having some earlier spring color would be nice. So let's try it. Plant's not much to look at right now. But yeah, I think that that would be really great right here. Look at those totem pole panicums. Aren't those spectacular? Okay, so for some reason I forgot to bring my auger out. I've got this, so we're gonna go ahead and just dig this hole, and I'm gonna swing by the barn on the way out to the dirt lands. Grab the auger for that one. Okay, I'm still going to use a little bit of starter fertilizer, even this late in the season. This type, when you're using a starter fertilizer like this, they are focused more on root development rather than upward growth and, you know, creating stems and branches and leaves and all of that, which is not something you would want to give your plants this time of year. Going into winter, you don't want to, you know, give them that type of fertilizer and then maybe have a little bit of a warm spell, and it can make the plant want to push a bunch of new growth, which can get damaged when, you know, cold temperatures set in. But this type, because it's focusing on root development, it's not going to encourage a bunch of that type of growth. It's going to encourage the roots to develop, and they still are working and growing through the winter months, not as fast as they do during the growing season, but it's still going on underneath there. So it's something I still give plants. I mean, no matter what time of year we plant, I always use it. And we will follow up probably with Plant-tone in the spring. Just gonna cut its root system a little bit, or a lot of it. Pretty root bound down here. There we go. Okay, now we just need to position it the way we like it, which I think I like it this direction. Okay, there it is. So that'll be really pretty when it gets, its 10-foot size. Oh, I can't believe we're here in November and there's a lot of things still looking so pretty. And look at this birch tree. Oh. Okay, I think I might just try my luck with the shovel since I only had to dig one hole. Let's head and find a spot for the white lilac. Now I did plant a Centara double blue lilac right there. I think maybe right in here might be nice. It's between a Spring Grove Arborvitae and a Vanderwolf pine. And there's also a linden right there. This should be great. Oh, I'm hoping the soil's easy to dig. I remember trying to dig holes for those hibiscus just down the way, and it was like digging into concrete. Yep, that works. Good enough. Oh, too far. Too close. And there it is. The nice part about this is our water line runs right by it, so that one's going to be incredibly easy to tap into the drip system out here. And we're going to continue working on mulching this area eventually as we have time. We made it quite a distance this last year along the fence, and it looks so nice. But I think that this lilac is going to do great here. Lilacs are just awesome for our area in terms of them being compatible for our soil pH. They actually prefer a higher pH soil, which is what we have. So it's not one that we have to amend the soil heavily around in order to keep them happy. But like I mentioned earlier, when we were talking about the white lilac by our back kitchen entrance, they are prone to borers. So it's something that we have to treat for. We treat systemically once a year after they're done blooming. And the systemic lasts for almost a year. So anyway, I feel like it's least in the plant system by the time it's blooming again the next year. And that way it keeps our lilacs free of borers and keeps them nice and healthy. I will be watering all of these in today, the 2 lilacs and the big maple and the oak tree. So I'm gonna go hook up the tank and get that done. And that's just something that when you're planting this time of year that you have to be mindful of, because it feels like plants shouldn't be needing quite a lot of water. But if you have really windy days or really dry, several days in a row that are dry with a breeze, it can dry things out, especially those newly planted things. So it's important to keep it in the forefront of your mind. And throughout the winter, like if we're not getting any snowfall or things like that, we'll come out here periodically and give them a little water just to keep the root balls damp. They don't have to be soggy or wet or anything like that. You just don't want them to dry out. But I think that both of these lilacs are going to be so much happier in the ground than trying to make it through another winter in their nursery containers. And I'm always a little happy when we empty out containers like this, because these are like the heavy duty nursery containers. Some of them are real flimsy, but these are the type we like to hang on to. And I like to transplant things into here when I'm carrying them over in the greenhouse. It's just handy to have a stack of these around. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today's projects. It's just been a really big day. I feel like I need to go stare at that kitchen flower bed, just stare at it for a little while and think through some of the possibilities and some of the plant choices that we could possibly put in there. It'll be a fun change, I think, in the end, to kind of create something really neat there. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.